I'm interested in seeing where this goes. Another one arrow section. Land of Peace. No battles either. Damn. My voice is gonna be strained as hell. Huh? Sounds like you had quite the evening. Peculiar though it may be, this does present another piece of the puzzle. Unfortunately, it does nothing to make the larger picture any easier to see. We know the Crypt's first priority is defending the Tree of Emptiness. Yet Akuda has not told this Lostbelt's king the tree's importance. Furthermore, she moved to eliminate us entirely on her own discretion, only ended up swearing allegiance to Ken Huang the instant Xiang Yu's life was threatened. I was taken back to see Akuda acting so aggressively when we first came to the Lostbelt. But seeing her so scared and flustered was just painful, more than it was surprising. I guess I really didn't know anything about her back when we were both at Chaldea.
Oh yes, about who she was at Chaldea.
Then I did a little poking around in the data we managed to back up from the server. And her entire background reeks of falsified records.
Ooh. And did I practically hold my nose as we picked apart her disguise?
So she's definitely not who she says she is. That's not too unsurprising. Disguise, even though she is a member of Chaldea's staff. Let's see, imagine our profile is like a painting that's been thoroughly methodically airbrushed to erase any origin of the original painter.
Correct. There was not a single errant brushstroke, so to speak, to be found anywhere. Anyone who has lived an ordinary life will inevitably leave behind a bit of useless information about him or her along the way. And yet there was nothing of the sort to be found in Akuda Hinako's data. It is as though her entire life story was designed to pull the wool over someone's eyes.
So a perfect alibi, then.
Precisely, this is just the sort of interjection I was looking for, my dear Watson.
So the fact that nothing in her personal information is also strange also means nothing it's real. Yep. There's basically nothing even remotely human about her entire background. And even that's not the only obvious suspicious thing we ran across.
According to her profile, Marisbury Atmosphere brought her to Chaldea, supervised her aptitude test, and oversaw her periodic health exams and interviews personally.
Okay, so Marisbury knew that she is likely a sage. I guess. So the sage arts, I don't know much about them except for what we've been told. The sage arts are capable of achieving eternal youth and eternal life, as well as building robotic humans who are capable of becoming mythological figures. It's presumed that she was probably brought on later. So, given that Marisbury's goal originally was to create the perfect demi-servant vessel, which is why he created MASH, and there was a bunch of other ones, perhaps he brought her in for her knowledge of the sage arts to either prolong MASH's life so that she continued to serve until he used her other reason to create a vessel like Nezha, but that's empty and could be used to properly house a heroic spirit. That's what I'm going with. Because it would look odd. The reason he oversaw her health, because it would look odd if she... Because, I mean, I don't know exactly what the course of the eternal life and stuff would be, but it's very likely that something would be odd with her health that would be easily found by a normal doctor.
It seems every bit of data about her was submitted under his authorization codes. No one else's.
First director. There's the fact that he handled it all alone is one hell of a red flag for security. It'd be easier for him to falsify any data he wanted, considering his position.
Be that as may, if Chaldea's original director was the one who manipulated her profile.
Yeah, if a guy that high up in the food chain had something he wanted to keep secret about her, we're pretty much SOL. How did Akuda end up at Chaldea in the first place? Did she actually have enough race shift to be chosen for Team A? For that matter, who the hell is she, really? At this point, I don't even know what to believe.
Indeed, everything we thought we knew about Akuta Hinako's personal information is suspect at best.
So, it wouldn't be a stretch to imagine she might have a different goal from the other cryptors.
Obviously not. What's more, this goal is evidently more important to her than protecting her Lostbelt or preserving her relationship with its king. One might think eliminating us would be her first priority, but as we've seen, that is even secondary compared to her concern for Jiang Yu, another figure about whom we know next to nothing about.
Looks like that name only means anything to those of us from proper human history. This is about who appears to go by something else. Quasi Zero.
Quasi.
One quick database search suggests that this area has some significance for Jiang Yu. It's where his uncle, Jiang Liang, started his revolt against the Qin Empire after the Emperor died. You could say it's where Jiang Yu began his career as a warrior.
Regardless of who Jiang Yu may be in this world, the fact remains that he belongs to this Lostbelt. So I cannot fathom why Akuta Hinako, who comes from proper human history, would care so deeply about him as to abandon her other goals.
That was pretty straightforward. She must have fallen in love with him at first sight. Or she knew the original him and fell in love with the original him. So Gordon's technically not wrong. The more foolish the woman, the more likely she is to chuck everything away for such silly notions. Careful, Gordy. You're gonna lose any goodwill you may have built up with your female staff. Bah, the only woman here is Mash, you borderline Lolita. Oh, damn! Oh, Gordov not pulling his punches. Well, I was certainly disappointed by what you said. Wait, really?
No, do try to stay on topic. We still do have a mountain of problems that need solving.
Alright, we still need to talk to the people who's going to be less than pleased about this. Koyan. Oh no, Jinki.
Here it is only temporary. I can't believe that I need to pretend to make nice with that Emperor. Just the thought of it makes me sick.
Yeah, given that she killed him.
Negotiate. Out of the question, that tactic plays right into the oppressor's hands. Don't be fooled, detective. They will tell you whatever we wish to hear, and pressure you into swearing allegiance with only the pretense of your consent at best. Given the urgency Mr. Solomon Gordolf's increasing, I'm afraid we have no alternative. At minimum, I would like to maintain our truce with Qin Shi Huang until Koyan is securely in our custody. If we continue to prolong it until Akuta Hinako is out of the picture, so much the better. Whatever her reasons for doing so may be, Akuta Hinako remains fiercely determined to eradicate us. So much so that she tried to assassinate Mr. Solomon at night against Qin Shi Huang's wishes.
Obviously, Akuta and Qin Shi Huang aren't exactly BFFs at the moment. But we can't really be sure that will last, that's all. There's still a lot we don't know about their relationship. There's even every possibility she may yet convince Qin Shi Huang to take her side in all this.
What about defeating Qin Shi Huang, cutting down the Tree of Emptiness, before music and master fall victim to this accursed poison? Should that not be our first priority? Listen closely, Spartacus. At the moment, making our enemy out of all the Empire will only lead to disaster. Right now, Koyan is a wildcard who could wreak havoc no matter where she is or whose side she is on. If we don't have an antidote ready to go by the time we face off with Qin Shi Huang, it will be over before it begins. All the Emperor would have to do is kill Koyan, and Mr. Soul will be saddled with poison's serious effect for the rest of his life.
Let's not forget my own life will be tragically shortened.
Yes, ultimately we need to destroy the Tree of Emptiness and erase this Lostbelt, and if we do so, we will inevitably need to face and defeat Qin Shi Huang. So bear in mind that any amicable relationship we appear to have now is a strictly temporary state of affairs.
So you want us to pretend to be friends until we can attack the Emperor least expects it, right? Yeah, that's fine. Hell, I used to ask Agravine for advice with that sort of sneaky shit all the time.
I refuse. Acquiescence is the first step to allegiance, and allegiance never really leads to subservience. My master must never side with oppression, but will always rebel against it. You should rebel against pain, rebel against suffering, and ultimately triumph by rebelling against destiny.
Get this goddamn stick out of your ass, would ya? We're playing the long game here, lunkhead. The important part is that we gotta destroy the Empire by the end. So why don't you just think of all the rebelling you're gonna be doing later as a prize for all the restraint you gotta show now? I mean, you love repressing your own shit, right?
Are you all truly willing to go along with this?
When I tried to assassinate the Emperor before, I lost the moment I focused on something other than killing itself. But I'm not the one leading this attack this time. I get that Soul has his own way of fighting. I'm sorry. Well, there's nothing I can do for you. If you're going to plead with me that helpless look at your face,
I mean, just now realizing how hopeless your chances are against Jiang Yu, right? It's getting stuffy in here with so many of us present. I think I'll step out for a bit of fresh air.
Huh? I'm just speaking to Senpai and Shenki. What's going on? What is it, Holmes?
Is there something else you want to talk to us about? Oh, I thought it would be best if Spartacus wraps it for this next part. I trust you retain your cool, Miss Xiangqi, but let me remind you to refrain from raising your voice. As long as we whisper, Qi Shuang shall be unable to hear us. I have mostly finished my analysis of the benefaction drug, and it's beyond anything I could have imagined. Its psychotropic effects are secondary at most. Its true purpose lies in boosting the immune system, or perhaps I should say enhancing it to an unfathomable degree. And despite its potency, there are almost no negative side effects as long as one condition remains unmet. It is well beyond what modern medicine science could achieve. In fact, I doubt even mage come from proper human history could create a drug so effective. It's something that can only be made here in the Lostbelt, where pharmaceuticals and biochemistry are entirely based on sage arts.
Now I see, so it's mass-produced elixir. And they just hand out something that amazing to every citizen during every major celebration.
Indeed, as a result, illness and disease have been completely eradicated. I doubt any of these people have ever had so much as a cold since they were born.
It's really actual panacea.
Well, what's the condition that needs to go met for this condition to work? Oh yes, that'd be old age. Once a person's hormonal secretions have reached a certain level, this drug functions as a lethal anesthetic.
Oh. Another case of no more old people.
I estimate it to be several thousand times more potent than pentobarbital.
No, I see. I thought it was strange that we hadn't seen a single elderly person here. That now just occurred to me as well.
This is not an intended side effect. It's quite clear that the medicine was designed to work this way.
Designed? Then is it really poisoning everyone who takes it? It's when someone's body secretes a certain amount of hormones. In other words, once their body is aged to a certain point, they just die.
Correct. From our perspective, distributing a drug like this is no better than mass murder. Still, a case can be made from a Buddhist perspective as how it views the four inabilities of human life. Namely, birth, aging, disease, and death. If one consider both old age and illness equally undesirable, one could say this medicine protects you from the pain of the former and the latter at once.
Yeah, properly intense music.
I cannot say if every world under all possible conditions would eventually arrive at the ethics of pharmaceutical science, but the wheat grown here has been extensively genetically modified into something extraordinary. Its resistance to disease, its yield, everything about it sends leagues above the natural counterpart of proper human history. With a crop like this, one could even live their entire life without knowing hunger.
If you never had any worry about food, you never think about taking it from someone else.
There is no economy here, no division between rich and poor exists, and all we have seen for ourselves how ignorant they are of war and violence. It seems that life here is as far removed as the suffering is one can expect in a world as it is possible to imagine. And when their life has run its course, this drug puts them to sleep permanently, well before they can begin to feel the pain of old age. I dare say that if nothing else, this world has done a frighteningly effective job at removing pain and suffering from people's lives.
But that's still... There's no way for people to live. They're practically being kept as livestock. Yeah, so this world is no better than Scandinavia. Except they get a little bit longer lifespan. And there's more of them. And they don't suffer as... I mean, they're being squished by giants in Scandinavia, so I can't imagine that's a lot of pain. Oh boy. Happy Thanksgiving, Draconic. You jumped in at the right point. I'm doing pretty good myself. How about yourself? How can how that dictator decided to solve humanity's suffering makes sense. No way a leader who'd abandon their own humanity would try to treat their subjects like people. As far as making a decision between this Lostbelt and proper human history, Spartacus claimed that we should fight to determine who should be allowed to live. With hearing that give you pause, I urge you to give it more thought than keeping what you know about this benefactor in mind. Doing fine for the first day of the 4-day? Nice! Pretty much same here. First day of a 4-day vacation for me as well. weekend and holiday and all, doing pretty good. Had a nice, enjoyable Thanksgiving. Am enjoying the story of this Lostbelt very much so. And it definitely hit that second act turn at this point. But yeah, although I am probably this is probably the last section I'm going to do because I have been going for almost 5 hours at this point, and my voice hurts at this point as well. In this world, the definition of a happy human life is exceedingly simple. I'm going with the second ... Seeing as you will need to make this choice sooner or later, I think it's best to suspend my usual behavior in favor of full disclosure. Allow me to share with you some speculation. Do keep in mind this is not a deduction, but rather a bit of conjecture on my part. Holmes. Oh yeah. Even if I can't achieve much range of vocalness, it definitely does. I need to find a good voice changer out there somewhere to help out with things. This relates solely to one question, namely, why did the spirit orgiograph fail to work at this Lostbelt's ley line? You think it has something to do with the medicine? That may not be directly related, but it does support my current hypothesis. Her spirits have always been one side of Alaya, mankind's collective unconsciousness. They are defined foremost by their purpose, protecting humanity. While there may be many different methods and conditions involved in summoning servants, the one thing they all have in common, without exception, is responding to the summoner's prayer. However, if there was not a single person in this world who had an empathetic need to pray for something, and if such a world had flourished unabated for hundreds of years. Right, it wouldn't be surprising at all if that world lost its connection to the Throne of Heroes entirely. Wait, so... check with Jenks, since he's using voice streamer. I might have to look into that. So, what Holmes is saying is because this world has been so prosperous, so lack of strife and stuff, there's not been need for heroes. So the concept of a hero as something that is as a being that has died and is a legendary thing. People probably don't even know who the heroes are. They're not heroes, they're just generals. People don't know what a hero is. They don't have dreams, they don't have ambitions. At least the people of the Scandinavian Lostbelt had an idea of what a hero is. They had dreams to a degree. They had freedom of thought. Exactly. I mean, it does also bring the question in as to what exactly is going on with the moon cell, since Mothman has not made it to the moon yet. He conquered the world and then transferred the Great Wall to the outer rim of space. He's not set foot on the moon. And we know that in this universe, the moon is the moon cell. The moon cell, though, copies what's going on, or at least takes record, excuse me, of what's going on the world. So the moon cell would still have a connection to the Throne of Heroes. And it might even at some point... Oh god. So that means that with the lack of heroes developing, the moon cell would not really have a way to contain the Umbral Star when it comes around again. So that could very well... I mean, not just the stagnation of humanity, but that could also be another reason why... Yeah, this moon cell might become corrupted, and that could be a reason why this one was cut off. Because this could be a world where Velber returns and destroys humanity unabated. Because if Velber, in the full intensity, required the original wielder of Excalibur to defeat and took down multiple divine beings, then there's no way that Qin Shi Huang would stand even the remotest lick of a chance. And if it has the moon cell's data, it could literally destroy the Great Wall, take out all the frozen generals out at Mount Lee, meaning it's just his royal guard and Qin Shi Huang himself to stand up against him, because the people wouldn't have hope. They wouldn't know of war. They would just see it as a big monster, and they wouldn't be able to fight. They would believe in the Emperor to help them, and he wouldn't be able to do anything to stop him, to stop Velber. That could be why that could be one of the reasons why this world was cut off. And it's a terrifying thought. Not to mention just the whole idea of euthanizing the old. Originally, world stopped at 100 years and found not to be able to stop Velber, or humanity can no longer progress. I mean, the Lostbelt is the point where it was sent back. So this point divert. Right, that is the point. So this... See, the thing is, though, is that humanity was advancing at least until the 13th century in this world, because that's when he finally conquered the last bit of the world, and his technology was advancing to the point of having automata as his soldiers. So humanity likely was still advancing under his rule for at least 13 centuries, and then it likely got pruned. Because the Lostbelts are where they are based on the point of divergence, not necessarily the point of pruning. The ones we've had have just been, the conditions have been just so inhospitable that they likely got pruned after 100 years. In Scotty's Lostbelt, it was just, humanity was just cattle, giants were still roaming about, and it was just a matter of time before Surtur broke free. In the Russian Lostbelt, a blizzard had wiped out most life, and humanity stopped becoming humanity and became the Yaga. In this one, Qin Shi Huang achieved immortality back in the BC era. He then went on to conquer the world until the 13th century. I mean, I would imagine, I brought this up earlier in the stream, but I do, like, a part of me can't help but wonder if one of the people in the Norse Lostbelt might have had the idea to try and fight back against a giant or something. Like, that thought is just in my head as to what would happen if they would be considered a hero in the eyes of the Valkyries. I mean, yes, the people wouldn't know because they don't see them get squished, but yeah. And I mean, technically there could still be a heroic Yaga, you know. There is still room in the Yaga, in the world of Yagas. Like, if there wasn't the storm wall, yes, the Earth's climate had been thrown off askew, but if one Yaga made the technological advancement like Tesla did and brought electricity to being, then I feel like something could happen there. But in this world, there is still possibility for heroes, or there was until the 13th century. So, I don't know, like, I'm not sure which world is worse, this one or the Norse Lostbelt. For that matter, there wouldn't even be any heroic spirits in that world, just like there aren't any here. After all, every hero who might be needed to fight someday, like Qin Liang Yu, is still alive. So this Lostbelt is a world that has no need for heroic spirits at all. Can you imagine a person wishing fervently for anything in a world free from hunger, pain, and suffering, Miss Carolite? I know I certainly cannot. Indeed, it only makes sense that servants would never appear in a world with no wishes for anything. That would also explain why we haven't ran into any wild servants as well. Thanks for telling us this, Holmes. Whatever doubts I might have had are gone now. I will do everything in my power to take Qin Shi Huang down and put an end to this disgusting regime. As long as I get there in the end, I don't care how far out of the way I have to go. So right now, let's focus on curing Soul. Now that I know where I'm going, I can wait as long as it takes. Thank you, Jean-Ki. Does Kuda know this, though? progress report?
We should finish a complete scan of the vehicle's interior by morning.
Good. Be careful not to overlook anything. Remember, the future of the Empire rests on your shoulders.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go see how things are outside. You know, all we would really need to do is hide the paper moon, and they wouldn't be able to do jack diddly squat with all the technology we're giving them. The Shadow Border. The product of a world entirely different from ours, huh? Because the moon does not know how to drink. My shadow merely follows the movement of my body. The moon has brought the shadow to keep me company a while. This practice of mirth should keep pace with spring. What was that, young man? Huh, well, that's called a poem. A guy named Levi wrote it a long time ago. Who taught you that? Well... oh?
We see Qin Liang Yu's investigations proceeding smoothly. It feels good to have so much data moving among our circuits.
Do you think you'll be able to analyze the otherworldly device, Your Imperial Majesty?
What do you think we are? This holy vessel's full calculation capabilities can easily handle a single vehicle. Or so we thought. This is amazing. How could they fit so much functionality into these dimensions? It's hard to believe what we are seeing.
Forgive the intrusion, Your Imperial Majesty, but there's something you should know.
What is this about?
The children in this village are reciting poems. You're kidding. When I asked them about it, they said they learned it from Chaldea.
We see then Chaldea Confucians.
Yes, Your Imperial Majesty, this is undoubtedly the work of Confucianism. Confucianism. I don't know a lot about Confucianism, but I'm pretty sure poetry has very long historical roots, not just rooted in Confucianism. And that's actually something I think I'm going to look up myself if I have the time between this stream and next, because it is almost midnight. My eyes are dry as bones, so I need to get my contacts out, and I need to rest my voice. So, I'm going to call this stream here. We're going to continue this Lostbelt tomorrow, technically still, and it'll be at the time scheduled below. I'm not gonna be going for as long because I do have D&D 3 hours after the stream, so there is that. I don't know why that popped up Steam. So, yes. Next stream will be shorter, but I will probably be streaming on Saturday to finish this up. For now, though, I'm going to call this stream here. I have been Soulrack Dragon. I hope that you've enjoyed this stream. If you have, leave me some feedback in whichever form you so see fit. If you want to check when I go live, then drop me a follow here on Twitch. If you want to check out all my previous streams, go to my YouTube channel. Same name as this one, where you will catch a massive backlog. Outside of all that, thank you all so much for coming out. I do hope that you enjoyed this stream. Have a fantastic evening, everybody.